Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're a night owl. So I've been having some trouble sleeping lately and I've really been loving the nighttime, I've become one with the night. I've become a night owl. So I just kind of want to talk about some stuff you can do if you're a night owl or if you've come to, stay awake throughout the night. If you're pulling like an all-nighter, for something. I don't know. So, first one that came to mind was obviously some video games. And it's not even necessarily because they're like that great. It's just about like passing the time. And if you're like if you really stay awake all throughout the night, like I remember when I was a kid, I used to stay up not all night, but I used to stay up late at night. And this was like, especially during summer vacation, like you had that period to stay inside all the time. And I can only imagine after 2020 that kind of staying inside mentality meant so much back then, in that time. So it was complete video game takeover, which is why if you like that kind of that thing, Twitch streaming is definitely something for you. If you're going to play video games, you might as well record yourself and put it out there in the world. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, as long as you're doing good stuff. You know what I mean? Don't just do something terrible or like cheating. You know what I mean? Because that's no bueno. That's definitely no good. But you get what I'm saying, right? It's like if you're gonna play video games all throughout the night, record it, put it up, and only if it serves as a reminder to yourself that this is your favorite game or a game you played back way when, It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to have that on archived for yourself. And there are any number of games you can play. The one that comes to mind is sport games. So I personally, I remember I used to play Madden. I used to play NFL football, a football game on the PlayStation 3 when it came out, and we had the PlayStation 3. I used to play that game so much. I loved it so much. It was like Madden 13, Madden 12, Madden 13, something like that. It was the Green Bay Packers versus the Steelers. That was like who played that year. And they made the video game and they put it out. And it was absolutely awesome. And so I just get this feeling, this ever-growing loving feeling for playing football, sports, or any kind of sports game, really. But that was one of the big ones. And then there's racing games. Oh my gosh. I tried playing the racing games. I wasn't really that good at playing the racing games because they had you. There were a couple of obstacles that got, that I wasn't really that good at. So like maybe you had to hold down the X button, right? And then you had to like press the R2 button or, to like shift gears and stuff and all that. And I was just like, just make it simple, make it like Mario Kart. And that's why I love Mario Kart so much more. It's just like you just have the Wii controller and you just move left and right. And it just seems a lot more simple on that kind of thing. Then you have the good old-fashioned combat games. And these combat games are, can be first-person shooter. They can be fantasies, fictional games, whatever, right? Mortal Kombat, or like where you have to like punch and hit and all that stuff. I love those games. Those games are so much fun. And they definitely get like some aggression, some violence out, right? I remember I used to play, I still do play, but the Super Smash Brothers, play that all the time. And I also saw people playing like the UFC stuff. I don't know how much I like that, but that's definitely an option. And then there's kid-friendly games, like I've stated before, Mario you got there, Nintendo, you got, I used to play, on the PlayStation 3, I used to play Ratchet and Clank. On the PSP, there was a Clank video game If any of you had the PSP, I had there was a Ratchet and Clank game I used to play, and there was like a Secret Spy Clank version. If you guys ever knew that, and that was the only games that my mom allowed me to play on those, on like PlayStation and stuff. She wouldn't let me play any like first person shooter stuff, so it was kind of like kid friendly or nothing else. So now, I mean, outside of video games, what else do you do when you're up late at night and you feel like you have to change your whole life? And so that means you do a deep clean. You do a deep clean of your whole room or of your whole apartment. I don't know what you're doing. You know, I don't know where you live, but doing a deep clean of the apartment or of your room is definitely a good use of your time. If you're gonna be up at night anyways, right? You might as well clean up just a little bit, right? Fold those clothes that you have sitting on that chair. You know, tidy up your nightstand, your dresser, all this other stuff. Just tidy it up, clean it up just a little bit. Put some stuff away. You know, even if it's only temporary, and then you lose it and you're like, oh, I should have left it where I left it, but you decided to clean, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Do some self-care, you know, definitely do some self-care. You can put on a face mask. That would be nice. Moisturizing, maybe a nice little massage of some sort. You know what I'm saying? Like just take it easy. Just focus on yourself. You know, just take it. Focus on you, right? Just take the moment to do whatever it is that you want, you know? Something that helps you out throughout the night. You could do your laundry. If there's ever a time to wash your clothes or to just kind of get them ready, is at night. You know, that's a pretty good time to do it. That way, when you wake up in the morning, you got fresh clothes. You know what I mean? Clean, fresh clothes. And particularly, I think it's not even that big of a hassle because you're already awake. You know, the laundry going isn't going to disturb you because you're like, well, I'm already awake. And this way you can actually get something done at the same time, right? And you're already attentive to it. You know it's happening. It's not like... It's one thing if you're going to sleep and the washer gets going and you're like, oh, it's so annoying, it's so loud. I'm trying to sleep here. It's another thing when it's like you're wide awake and you're just like, yes, I would like my clothes to be clean. There's also a nice candle, right? Who doesn't like a nice fresh scenting candle? I in particularly like some of the more, I don't even want to say fruity. I definitely like fruit scented candles. You know what I mean? Like I think there was like this watermelon one that I really like. There's peach. There was like a peach something. Like a peach Bellini candle that I really enjoyed. Just something like that, you know, something that takes up the whole space, the whole room. Something that's really good, a really good scent. And that kind of, you know, that might relax you a little bit, you know, it might put you at ease. It might make you feel like a little sleepy, a little tired. Maybe it'll take you somewhere tropical even, right? Stuff like that, it'll definitely help. And if you're a night owl, maybe it'll take in the space. You know, maybe it'll lift your mood up, or it'll help you out throughout the night. And then, you know what? You could also, while you're deep cleaning, you could listen to You could listen to this podcast. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much for listening. If you're a night owl right now and you just found this podcast, a big thank you. A big thank you to you, because that means a lot that you took your time to randomly search through Spotify, or you're just randomly scrolling through podcasts and you're trying to find something and you found me. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. So you made a good choice, all right? Stay tuned to the rest of this podcast. Next up, if you're a night owl, the one thing that you have to survive, you have to live, right? If you can't sleep, then you got to eat something. So midnight snacks, the perfect, the ever so amazing, the top tier, S tier really, is like, this is God level midnight snacks. It's cereal. You get a nice bowl, you get some milk of your choice, almond, soy, oat milk, whatever floats your boat. And then you just get that cereal, whatever you want. Honey Nut Cheerios, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, you name it. Just go grab it, all right? And then you get your bowl. You put the cereal first. If you put milk first in, you're a psychopath, all right? No apologies made there. You only put milk if it's like maybe you need some more cereal, and so you have to pour a little bit more. But even then, right? Even then, milk goes after that. You know what I'm saying? So you put your cereal in, and then pour it up, and then enjoy. I mean, it's really that simple. Cereal is really, really up there as the greatest midnight snack to ever live. Some sweet bread, like a nice pound cake. You ever have like a coffee cake? You know what I mean? You ever have one of those? I mean, those things are just absolutely delicious. If you have a sweet tooth, you like some sweet bread, definitely a go-to recommendation. And by sweet bread, I mean like maybe a muffin of sorts, or a cupcake maybe. You know, just something sugar and flour based kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Not like a piece of bread with just sugar on it. Not that that's not bad, but I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to give you variety here, which you can definitely do. You could bake some cookies, huh? How's that for a midnight snack? You bake some cookies, and you get a nice glass of milk or whatever, and you just enjoy it for the night. Maybe you sit back and take it easy. You know, get into like a Christmas mood sort of feel. You know what I'm saying? You know what you could do? Oh, this is genius. This is genius. Okay. So you're chilling in your room. You're listening to this podcast. You're watching a video on your laptop or on your TV, on your phone, whatever, right? You get some popcorn. Now, I'm not saying this is right. I'm just telling you that this is an idea. This is a midnight snack we're talking here. You can get anything you want. But a popcorn, you already eat in the dark, right? Who goes... there's very rare times that I've had popcorn in daylight. Except for, like, sometimes they have, like... kettle corn sometimes, right? But very rarely will I ever go outside to eat popcorn, right? It's usually inside a theater and it's dark. So this is a midnight snack opportunity we're having here. So you get some popcorn, you bake some cookies, you enjoy a nice salty buttery popcorn, and then you contrast it, and then you get the sweet, delicious baked goodness of a soft, or maybe like a nice crispy cookie, you know, and some milk. Oh, dude, that's the best. That's what you gotta do. And on top of all of that, which I just mentioned, you could also, dude, I'm just listing a bunch of movie theater snacks. But at the end of the day, you get some ice cream, and then you just take it easy. You make a nice hot fudge sundae for a midnight snack. Now that's a midnight snack. It's pretty good. Pretty good idea. And you put a nice, you put a banana in there, maybe like 2 or 3 scoops of ice cream, some whipped cream, hot fudge on top, maybe some sprinkles. And you know what? While we're at it, maybe a nice cherry on top. Not that in particularly, like, don't, you know, I'm not a big like I need the cherry, but the cherry is just like so classic. You kind of have to do it just because it's already there. So, long story short, cereal. If you're not in the mood for cereal, if you're not, I mean, who's not in the mood for cereal? But I'm just saying, as a midnight snack, if you don't want cereal, you could also get like a nice sweet bread. If you don't want sweet bread, bake some cookies, make some popcorn, and then have some ice cream to top it all off. I mean, that's just me. You know, that's just me talking. And it doesn't have to be all of them. I'm just saying, like, you could have one, you know, sporadically throughout your week, I guess. Okay, this next one. Now, I love listening to music. Music is a part of life. And there's no greater time to find good music than late at night. You put some headphones on so you don't disturb anybody, and you just throw yourself a little dance party, just a little dance party. Turn up your favorite song, so you listen to your favorite songs, the song that you play over and over and over again. Now, if this is a depressing song, you know, cry your eyes out, do whatever you gotta do, you know what I mean? I'm on your side here, okay? But if you listen to a depressing song over and over and over again, chances of you getting depressed are pretty high. So I would recommend something you can dance to, something a little upbeat, and play that over and over and over again. Just have fun. Just have fun with it, you know? Don't worry about it too much. And just take the night away. Let the music take you to where you want to go. Now, this might be a little scary, but you could also try finding new songs. I know. But finding new songs isn't always so bad. Sometimes I find a nice melody. Sometimes I find a nice little like acoustic guitar every now and then, right? And just the guitar. You know, sometimes the lyrics mess it up, or it gets in, some other things get in the way. You know what I mean? You ever have those songs? You find this good song with like a good like chords, like guitar chords or piano chords or something in there. But then the lyrics and the actual song itself, like everything all together of it, just isn't there. Yeah, that's it ruins my whole night. But you constantly find new songs, and every now and again, you'll find a song that just speaks to you. It just reaches out to you and says, "Hey, you've missed me, you know, but I'm here now. Let's vibe. Let's have fun." And then you just go with it. You know what you could also do is if, you know, you're looking for your favorite artist, you could try looking for their concert online. You know, I do this sometimes when I'm like, oh, let's see what this person would sound live, or this song or that song. And then I find it and I'm like, yes, that's cool that they have it, you know, in that space, in that arena. But it gets kind of annoying, the crowd. You know what I mean? So that's why I try to find like, them like singing it with no crowd. Does that make sense? Like in a studio, or like, you know, they have like those radio interviews and they sometimes will do that stuff. So yeah, I try to find those. And then also you could try finding old songs. So like sometimes I think of like childhood theme songs. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, let me hear that one again, just for nostalgia's sake. So like I'll go back and I'll listen to there's the Ben 10 theme song. I was thinking about that the other day, you know, and then I thought about an old Cartoon Network show called My Gym Partner's a Monkey, and I was just like, man, dang, dude, like that song is old. And so I was trying to like remember the theme song, and it was just like, it was so weird, but like weird, you know, like weirdly nostalgic, like, oh, my childhood came back to me. And then on top of finding those kinds of songs, like those random, like little fever things that you kind of remember from when you were a kid, you also look up like 2007 top 100 hits. Like that's just, you know, like I just sometimes go back and I'm just like, man, that was a simple time. That was the good old days. And there were people, 21-year-olds in the club listening to those songs and just having a blast. Like, imagine being I mean, obviously now we have access to it, but at the time, imagine being 21 years old and hearing like a G6 at the club. I mean, if that doesn't, that's just, those people were lucky at the time. Now, this next one is also another weird one. I can't lie to you, okay? I'm not necessarily saying it's weird. I'm just saying that, like, it's not something that I normally do. Like, I'll do some other things, but this one would probably be, like, pretty low on the list, I guess. But you could read a book. Now, what kind of book is all up to you. You know what I mean? You could read, like, a cute little kid's chapter book. You could read, like, a children's book, you know, like with the pictures and all that. But for me, I find that as a night owl, my mind kind of gravitates towards mystery novels or like crime novels. So I don't know why. I don't know why that just happens, or like why my mind is interested in finding, like, you know, solving a puzzle or like a riddle or like a murder mystery at night. But that's just where my mind goes, and I follow it. I follow it all the way through, and that's definitely like one of the books that I would definitely go for. I would definitely go for like a mystery book to like deep read throughout the night, because I'm already awake. You know, I'm not going to sleep, and I don't think reading like a murder mystery will put me to sleep, because I'll be like scared that somebody's going to come up and kill me, right? Isn't that the whole bit, I guess? I don't know. Oh, there's also autobiographies and biographies, are like, you know how like those celebrities will come out with like a book detailing some sort of experience that they had. So it'll be like an autobiography of their life. It'll be about a struggle that they had. It'll be about something. I think I would read those books or listen to them, like audiobooks. Oh man, audiobooks. Audiobooks are really cool. Audiobooks are the best, because they take all the trouble out of because sometimes like I'll be in the car driving and I want to read a book, or like I have the time, but I have to focus on the road. So audiobooks help out a lot. It's also why I really love podcasts. It's just so easy. I have a cough. So sorry. And if you can hear, I also have a cough drop in my mouth, so that way I don't cough. So sorry about that. Next are self-help books. It's always important to keep your mind open to helping yourself or to improving upon yourself. So self-help books are definitely a go-to, are definitely a top tier, you know, looking for ways to get better. So a self-help book is definitely something that I would recommend if you're a night owl, just because it'll make you want to do better or be better for the next day, for the following day. And it's just, I feel like if you read a self-help book at night, then you'll be more inclined to do good work the following day. I hope that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. Next, fantasy and fiction novels. So when all else fails, just go just straight up fiction, straight up fantasy, you know, just the weird stuff, just the funny, the bizarre, the magic treehouse of books, right? Like those books are so cool, but those are like historical fiction. You know, they go back in time to dinosaurs, they go back in time to like World War II and stuff like that. I mean, that's wild if you think about it. They go back in time to like the Civil War. That's crazy. At least I think they do. I can't really remember. But long story short, just find a random fiction novel that you really enjoy. I think those books really speak more to my imagination than anything else, because they try to establish a world and you have to already believe it in like a few pages. And if they don't, then you're not going to get hooked into it. And then obviously, of course, science fiction. Science fiction is based on like it could really happen, and they try to give you science to explain it. And that's kind of where I kind of like that realistic possibility of, oh wow, okay, people living on the moon, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like a whole society living up in the moon, but they're like a different kind of people, and they do all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the final part I wanted to touch on, is like science fiction definitely fits into my scope of midnight night owl reading. Now, after that, if you don't want it, you don't. Being a night owl doesn't just mean you sit in your room all night, right? It definitely is part of it. It's definitely, one reason to do it. Stay safe, still stay protected. But you could also go for a late night drive. You could go for a late night drive, and you can do whatever you want. Get in your car and just drive it out. Because I like driving at night, especially when nobody's on the road. Empty road. You ever have that beautiful crisp night where it's like straight ahead of you, you can kind of see like a little bit of a fog, and there's like some lights and whatnot, right? Street lights. And it's just that nighttime feeling to it. And the roads are empty, and it's just you out there on the road, and you feel like you could do anything out there, but you just glide through the night, glide on the road. And it's just absolutely blissful. There's no chance of you getting in a car accident. There's no chance of somebody speeding past you. There's no chance somebody might hit you in the back. It's just you on the road, and you're perfectly safe. You're calm. That's the best. I mean, clear roads. And you very rarely get that in the daytime. And if you do, you're a lucky person. But just to have the road all to yourself is just so cool, And just the whole feel of the night, just being outside during the nighttime, looking up at the moon and the stars and whatnot, it feels something peaceful about it. But you also have to be very careful. So don't go out there getting into any trouble. But you know what I'm saying. Just enjoy the vibe of the night. Enjoy the peace and the feeling of the night, right? And then you could also take photos. So that way you can like set up some lights. You can get your camera all ready. You can shoot some videos and whatnot. Like that very much is a part of it. You can get some good photo shoots out there because there's a lot less people around. You don't have to feel awkward about it. You can kind of like get yourself all ready and dolled up, if you will, and you can look good just for a little bit of time, and just kind of have fun with taking photos. I think that's a good time to do it. And yeah, you could also take if you get like there are those telescopes that take pictures for you of the moon or of stars or of planets and stuff like that. That's cool too. Very cool. And it's also just quiet at night. Like sometimes, obviously, like my neighbors will be like playing music, or they'll like have a party or whatever. And nights like those, it's like, it is what it is. But other nights, it'll just be completely silent. Or if you stay up late enough, it'll eventually be completely silent, and you can hear, the city or your town or whatever, and like maybe some bugs or whatnot, like crickets or whatever. But you just hear the night be completely quiet, and that's what you shoot for. That's what you want. You want a quiet night. You want peace. You want quiet. You just like it to feel nature around you, I guess. And I guess I feel that most when I go camping, or like if you've ever gone camping, you just sleeping, you're just in your tent chilling, and then you hear the nature around you, and it's just quiet, cool, it's peaceful. Now, the last thing you can do on your late night drive, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but you can do this, is you can go drag racing. You know when I talked about that clear road? Yeah, you could literally do donuts in that clear road. I mean, you could do whatever you want. Nobody's going to stop you. The cops aren't out there. You know, they're asleep as well. So this is the perfect opportunity for you to just get in your car and just zoom. You know what I'm saying? Just go crazy. Do all kinds of cool tricks. Wheelies, donuts, whatever. Do whatever you want. It's definitely possible. Now, after you've gone on your late night drive, after you got a midnight snack, after you've done everything that you want to do, you come back home and you journal it. You get your own journal. You got to write some stuff out. You got to write about whatever, just to get some thoughts out there. You know what I mean? Because like, otherwise you'll be constantly thinking to yourself, and then you'll really never sleep. But if you put pencil to paper, maybe it'll kind of get some ideas out of you, and then you can go to sleep, right? Maybe that's what's holding you back. So, what should you write about? What can you journal about? Well, you could definitely talk about the day events. You know, what did you go through that day? Was there somebody you met? Was there something that happened at work? What did you eat? What did you know? How was everything else that's going for you? Stuff like that, right? Just write it all down, the day's events, as detailed as you can, and as playful, I guess. I don't know. Just try to be as descriptive as possible when you're doing all of this. Because the more descriptions, the better. The more pages it'll fill up, and the more ideas will come to your mind, and you'll just become like a river of just ideas and just writing it all down. You could also write about your future goals. So, what are you going to do tomorrow? What steps are you going to take to be great tomorrow? That's also a good use of your time. And if you're going to be up all night, if you're not going to sleep, you might as well prepare for, you know, the next day or the next night, right? It's definitely a good use of your time. You'll never regret writing out some goals for yourself or you know, your future achievements that you want. That's definitely something that matters. And by doing it, you're allowing yourself to really look at yourself and saying, like, where do I want to be and what do I want to do? You could also write about sleeping. As weird as that sounds, you could write about, why you're not sleeping. You could write about, if you were sleeping, what would you be dreaming about? You could write about, sleep as an idea, and if we didn't have to sleep anymore, what kind of a world would we live in if we didn't have to sleep? You know, because if we didn't have to sleep, man, there would be a lot more workaholics. There would be a lot more time. You know, there wouldn't be any time to relax, really, right? Like, nobody would be like, what are you doing, relaxing? That's a waste of time. Get back to work, right? Who knows what the world would look like today if we didn't have to sleep. Next, you could write about love. You could write about love you have for your pet. You could write about love you had for the day, the sunshine, the air, yourself. You could write about whatever you want. Love for somebody else, a significant other, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your husband, your wife. You could write about whatever you want. Just as long as you're putting love into your notes, onto your paper. And there are definitely moments where I think that putting positive energy into and I can't even talk. Putting positive energy, putting loving words onto paper will do you a lot of good, and also put a lot of stuff out into the world that maybe you can't verbally. Like, sometimes people have trouble speaking to other people, especially people that they're nervous around, people that they like. So writing it out might help put your thoughts out there, put it exactly how you want it, you know? And finally, you could just write about anything. You could literally write about bowling. You know what I mean? Just journal about anything that comes to your mind, anything in your room that speaks to you. Anything about your day. You could write about the sun, you could write about the earth, you could write about water, you could write about, whatever. Just as long as you're getting some thoughts out there, and as long as you're flexing that muscle of writing. I think that, if so much time of our lives are spent trying to learn how to write, or writing papers, or trying to communicate with other people, we might as well try to write out our thoughts and ideas, sort of. You know what I mean? So I think that's definitely a good use of your time if you're a night owl. Finally, and this is definitely the go-to. All right, this is definitely numero uno on the list, and that's binge watching a show. Now, I don't know what you would necessarily binge watch, but it could be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be anime, it could be this, it could be that, right? It could be a YouTube video series, it could be a YouTube channel that you just discovered and you have to watch every single bit. It could be social media, it could be just whatever, right? Binge watching it. But recently, I've been there are any shows and movies that I've been binge watching, and the first one that comes to mind, and this might sound a little bit bad, but because of that new Fast and Furious movie is coming out, I'm like, darn, let me go back to when it was, just about racing. So I've been binge watching the Fast and Furious movies. So I watched the first one and I was like, yeah, back in the day, crazy. It was so much fun. And then I watched Too Fast, Too Furious, and I was just like, yeah, that first race scene is so much fun. And then the other one where they race for pink slips is also really cool. I also watched Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift gets a bad rap sometimes. Some people are like, that movie is absolutely the worst. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? I like it. It doesn't kill the whole vibe for me, but I guess later on down the line, the consequences of that movie are, nothing. There are no consequences, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Is that the consequences I thought were going to happen in the movie don't, and it's a real shame for the storyline of the franchise, I suppose. You could also watch the Harry Potter movies. The Harry Potter movies are definitely binge worthy. Then Lord of the Rings and a bunch of other movies. But I immediately thought of Harry Potter just now, because it's one of those movies where it's like, as long as you, back when I was first watching them as a kid, I was kind of not all that privy to it. I just knew that there was a bad guy in every movie. And then as I got older, now, following along the plot, it's a lot more simple to get what's happening and what's going on. So if you binge watch all of that, you're definitely not going to regret it. Fun movies, cool movies, and you'll love the magic of the world, I think. I've also been binge watching some TV shows like CSI Miami. I know it's kind of I know those shows are kind of corny a bit, but I eat it up, dude. I kind of just what's going to happen next? Because there's always a new thing to investigate. There's always something new to discover. There's always somebody committing crimes. And I just really like Horatio. Horatio's the best. I also been binge watching The West Wing. If you've never watched The West Wing, definitely go watch it. It's absolutely fantastic. The first episode just hooks you in already. I would probably give anything to see that pilot episode, when it first came out on TV. That would have been, can you imagine just how awesome that feeling must have been to watch it that first night? Nobody knew what the show was, or what to really expect. They were it's a political drama, but they didn't really understand it all that well. but they came through in it. It's a masterpiece. It's a really great show. I almost said masterpiece, but down in the later seasons, I mean, I have a few issues with it, but you know, what are you gonna do? You know, but other than that, still a great show. Now, the last show I've been, well, not really binge watching, but like sometimes I find clips of it or like an idea comes to my mind, and that's SpongeBob SquarePants. Oh my goodness. Talk about an amazing show. Like, obviously the beginning seasons were like, that's childhood right there. That's life. That's everything. And obviously in these newer seasons, it's just been amped up to like up to 20. But back then, like that prime beginning of just weirdness, but hilarity, combination between SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, Sandy, like it all just meshed together really well, and it makes me smile, and it puts a laugh on my face. So, if you're ever having like a bad day, and if you're a night owl, definitely watch some SpongeBob. You're not gonna regret it. You're gonna love it. Other than that, I mean, what else do you need, you know? So you got video games, you got cleaning, you got midnight snacks, you got a dance party, you get to read a book, you get to journal, you get to go for a late night drive, and then finally you binge watch your favorite movie or TV show. That's all you can, that's really the best thing you can do. So, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much to all my night owls for listening to this during the nighttime. And if you're listening to this in the daytime, thank you too. And I'll talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.